The arrival of 9,900 warships. The night sky over Earth was calm. People were sleeping, cities were quiet, and everything seemed normal. But above the clouds, something terrible was coming. High in space, 9,900 alien warships entered Earth's orbit. Each ship was black, sharp, and huge, like floating cities made for war. These ships belonged to the Xanthari Empire, one of the strongest powers in the galaxy. The Xanthari had destroyed hundreds of worlds. They had crushed every enemy before. And now they had come for Earth. Inside the lead ship, Empress Corella stood on the command deck. Her eyes glowed red, her armor shimmered with strange light, and her voice was cold. "Send the message," she ordered. A deep voice echoed across all human devices, phones, radios, satellites. "People of Earth, you are now property of the Xanthari Empire. Surrender your planet or face complete destruction." The message played in every language. But Earth said nothing. No one responded. No leader, no army, no voice from Earth replied. Empress Corella frowned. "Are they cowards, or are they deaf?" Her commanders laughed. "They are primitives, weak, scared. They don't even have space defenses. This planet will fall in a day." The Xanthari ships moved lower. Each ship began scanning cities and military bases. Some targeted Earth satellites. Others prepared to drop soldiers and machines. But in a secret underground base in Nevada, USA, a human general stood calmly. His name was General Marcus Reeve. He was old, quiet, and had seen too many wars. He stared at the satellite images showing the alien fleet above Earth. His officers looked nervous. "Sir, what are your orders? Should we respond to their message?" Reeve didn't move. He just whispered, "No. Let them land." "Sir?" Reeve smiled, but his smile was strange. Not happy, not afraid, just waiting. In the forests of Siberia, near the ice mountains, one Xanthari scout ship landed. The crew stepped outside wearing silver armor and holding laser rifles. The air was cold, and the ground was covered in snow. They expected a small village, maybe some wild animals. Instead, their sensors picked up nothing. No heat, no movement. Weird. "This area was populated," one of them said. They moved forward. Trees surrounded them. It was silent. Too silent. Suddenly, one soldier turned. "Did you hear that?" "No." But then it happened. A scream, a flash, then silence again. One of the soldiers was gone. "What? Where did he go?" The leader shouted. The others looked around. Trees, snow, fog. Nothing else. Then another scream. Another soldier vanished. Then another. In just 5 minutes, only one Xanthari remained. He screamed into his communicator, "This place! It's alive! It's hunting us!" Then even he was gone. From space, the ship lost contact with the ground. Crew. Back in the command ship, Empress Corella received the report. Scout Unit 17, lost. She narrowed her eyes. Send another, double the numbers. But the same thing happened. One by one, ships landed and disappeared. Some exploded, some never reported again. The Empress was confused. "How is this possible?" Another commander tried to explain. Maybe Earth is not what it seems. Meanwhile, news began spreading across Earth. People were scared, but not helpless. In small towns and big cities, humans gathered. Soldiers readied weapons, civilians made plans, engineers jammed alien signals, hackers tried to break into Xanthari systems. No government gave up, no city surrendered. In one small village in Africa, a boy looked up at the glowing ships in the sky and said, "Do they think we're afraid? They came to the wrong planet." Back in space, the Empress grew angry. "These humans are hiding. But no matter. We will crush them. Prepare all landing troops. We begin the full invasion tomorrow." The war drums of the Xanthari echoed through. The fleet. Thousands of ships moved closer to Earth, blocking out the stars. But still, Earth said nothing. No message, no warning, no threat. Just silence. And in that silence, something terrifying was waiting, because the Zenthari thought they were bringing war to Earth, but they didn't know. Earth was the war. First contact. A deadly mistake. The first contact didn't happen in a grand city. It didn't happen in front of cameras. It happened deep in the Amazon jungle. And it went horribly wrong. A Zenthari dropship sliced through the clouds and landed in a green sea of trees. The mission was simple. Capture a human alive and test Earth's gravity, air, and resistance level. The soldiers on board were elite, silent, fast, deadly. Their leader, Commander Velak, stepped out first. His armor shimmered with alien energy. His scanner beeped. No structures, no heat signs. No threats detected, the AI said. Velak nodded. Primitive planet, move forward. The team of 8 soldiers spread out, moving through the vines and underbrush. The jungle was thick, wet, and loud with insect noises. But something was wrong. The tree looked like they were watching. One soldier stepped forward. Snap. He looked down. A wire? Too late. A hidden spike trap launched from the ground, impaling him through the chest. Blood sprayed across his armor as he dropped dead. Trap! Defensive system detected. One soldier shouted. But this wasn't a defense system. This was handmade, human-made. The team opened fire wildly into the trees, but there was nothing to shoot. Then came a strange sound. A whistle, short and sharp. Then silence. And then screams. From the shadows, black-painted humans moved like ghosts, camouflaged, trained, angry. They struck fast, knives, arrows, even poisoned darts. Within 60 seconds, 5 Zenthari soldiers were dead. Velak was cut off from his team, bleeding, confused and furious. "These aren't savages," he shouted into his comm. "These are warriors." Above in the command ship, Empress Kirella watched in shock. "Who are these people?" she growled. Her scientists looked nervous. "We underestimated their behavior." Another general stepped forward. "No, Empress. We underestimated their will to fight." Meanwhile, Velak crawled into a cave for cover. His armor was broken, his leg burned from an acid bomb, and one of his eyes was gone. A human girl, no older than 19, stood at the cave's mouth. She wore jungle gear, held a rusty shotgun, and had scars on her arms. Velak aimed his plasma gun at her. She didn't flinch. "You think you're the first invader to land here?" she said coldly. "You're just another name in Earth's graveyard." She raised her gun. Velak fired. She vanished sideways behind a rock and tossed something, glowing into the cave. He recognized it too late. A human-made EMP grenade. Boom! His systems fried. Darkness. Elsewhere around the globe, the same thing happened again and again. In the Sahara, alien tanks got stuck in sand traps. In the Himalayas, scout drones crashed into high-altitude storms. In the oceans, giant sea creatures dragged Zenthari vessels into the deep. In New York, human fighters hacked alien ships and used them to attack their own fleet. The planet wasn't just resisting, it was hunting back. One alien admiral said it clearly, "We came for an easy war, but Earth is fighting with teeth." In a dark control room, General Marcus Reeves stared at a map showing alien landings and human counterattacks. Red dots, Zenthari losses, spread fast across the globe. "Is this revenge?" his young officer asked. "No," Reeve replied. "This is warning shot 1. He turned to a screen showing a file labeled Project Cerberus. "Do we activate it?" the officer asked. Reeve stared. "Not yet. Let them bleed a little more." Back on the alien ship, the Empress was furious. They were supposed to bow. They were supposed to beg. Now she was losing troops faster than she could send them. Send in the fire squads, burn their forests, flatten their cities. Teach them fear, but her generals looked unsure. One whispered, "What if they don't know fear?" And deep in the Amazon jungle, the human girl stood over the broken body of Commander Velak. He coughed, eyes dimming. "You monsters." She leaned down, close, and whispered, "No. You invaded the wrong planet. We're not monsters. We're just human." The Zenthari Empire believed war was about machines. Big weapons, fast ships, laser guns, energy shields. But Earth didn't play by those rules. This war wasn't happening in space. It was happening in shadows, in silence, and in the minds of warriors who had trained their whole lives for chaos. In a ruined factory outside Berlin, a small team of humans waited, in the dark. There were only 6 of them. No helmets, no armor, just old rifles, handmade traps, and steady hearts. The leader was a woman named Captain Alira Dawn. She once trained mountain soldiers. Now she trained survivors. A Zenthari patrol was moving toward them. 12 fully armored soldiers with scanning tech, heat sensors, and plasma rifles. The humans didn't move. They didn't even breathe loudly. "Are we going to fight?" whispered a new recruit. "No," Alira said calmly. "We're going to break them." She tapped her wrist device once. Boom. The floor under the Zenthari cracked. The entire ground collapsed, and they fell into a trap full of rebar spikes and sharp metal. Half of them died instantly. The rest crawled out, bleeding and shocked. Alira's voice echoed through a nearby speaker. "You think numbers win wars? No, fear does." Then came the final move, an EMP blast frying all the enemy's weapons. The remaining aliens didn't fight back. They ran. Alira's team didn't chase. They just waited for the next group. All across Earth, stories like this were happening. Not from giant armies, but from people. Regular humans who had become experts at war, pain, survival. In the frozen north, a Zenthari hovercraft was ambushed by a tribe of hunters who used no tech, just bows, knives, and the snow. In urban slums, street kids hacked alien drones, turning them against their own ships. In the Philippines, a group of elderly fishermen tricked an alien gunboat onto shallow coral reefs, then blew it up using barrels of fuel strapped to their old boat. Humans were not attacking with power. They were attacking with cleverness, rage, and mad bravery. On the Zenthari command ship, Empress Corella watched the losses pile up. They have no military unity, no chain of command. And yet, they are everywhere. Her top war analyst trembled. "We are facing a decentralized resistance." Explain. "They don't fight like us. There are no leaders to kill, no central command. Every hill, every home, every person could be a threat. It's not a war, it's survival, and they are too good at it." Meanwhile, in a secret human base under Iceland's glaciers, General Marcus Reeve met with Earth's hidden leaders. They had not spoken. Publicly, they had not announced any global response. Why? Because silence was a weapon. Reeve stood before a table showing a global map. Every continent glowed with red, alien troop locations. But one button on the panel said, "Unlock Human Edge," and Deo, advisor asked, "Why haven't we used our satellites yet, or the virus code?" Reeve replied, "Because this is not just about winning, it's about sending a message." He looked around the room. They think technology wins battles, but they forgot the oldest weapon in the universe, human nature. In the forests of Canada, a lone man named Alec Tom lived alone for 10 years. A former sniper, forgotten by society, labeled unstable. When the Zenthari landed near his cabin, he didn't run. He smiled. Within 2 days, 4 alien squads disappeared. No gunfire was heard, no ships exploded, just silence, and a trail of armor parts leading into the forest. A new Zenthari unit arrived to investigate. A message was carved into a tree. "I was alone. You came to my home. Now I'm hunting." Signed, a human. Even the Empress started to feel it. Fear that crawled under her skin. These humans didn't fight to win medals. They fought like every breath might be their last, and that made them impossible to break. In the shadows of Earth's broken cities, legends began to rise. A woman who could kill with a pen. A boy who destroyed an alien ship using kitchen fire. A blind old man who led 20 villagers to take down a war walker. They were stories. But to the Zenthari, they became nightmares. And, deep in space, another empire watched Earth's battle through hidden probes. They were old, ancient, and afraid. One of their elders said, "The humans have changed. They are not the prey we once knew. They have become the galaxy's final warning." For the first time in the proud history of the Zenthari Empire, its warriors were doing something they had never done before in battle. They were begging for extraction, begging for backup, begging for the nightmare to end, and Earth wasn't even using its full strength yet. On day 11 of the invasion, a full Zenthari armored division tried to seize a human city, once known as Johannesburg. They landed at dawn, confident and ready. They came with hover tanks, hunter drones, sonic disruptors, and over 2,000 elite troopers. By sundown, only 6 were left, and they were crawling, on fire, screaming. One of them managed to activate a distress beacon. His voice cracked, full of horror. It wasn't the weapons, it was the people. They smiled while they burned everything we had. They aren't fighting us. They're playing with us. He died seconds later, from a homemade spike trap. In orbit, Empress Corella sat in silence. 10 screens showed burning ships, crashed outposts, wounded officers. Some were crying. Some just stared, silent, broken. She slammed her fist on the table. "Why can't we win?" No one answered, but one scientist finally spoke. "Empress, Earth is not just defending, it is adapting. Every loss we give them makes them smarter," she growled. "They're primitives," the scientist shook his head. "No, they're Deathworlders. Every inch of their planet has tried to kill them since birth, and now they're teaching us what that feels like." Back on Earth, in the ruins of a small village in Pakistan, a farmer's daughter stood over a fallen Zenthari officer. She wasn't a soldier, she had no training, only a slingshot, a sharp rock, and the will to protect her home. The officer had begged for mercy. She gave him water, then whispered, "Go home and tell them, we're not scared of you." He ran. The next day, alien radio chatter was full of fear. They called her the Phantom Girl of Firestone Valley. She was just one of many. In an underground control center beneath Tokyo, General Reeve activated a new phase of Earth's defense plan. Operation Mirror. This wasn't an attack. It was psychological warfare. All Zenthari communication was now hacked. Their own channels played videos of their soldiers getting outsmarted, trapped, humiliated. Some showed farmers tricking drones. Others showed children disabling weapons using toys. One showed a one-legged man beating 3 armed aliens with a shovel. The message was clear. You don't belong here. Zenthari morale crashed. Entire squads refused to leave their ships. Some even turned their weapons on themselves. In one fleet command post, a junior officer screamed at his captain, "They laugh while killing us. What kind of monsters are they?" The captain had no answer, because he was shaking too. Far away in space, a secret Zenthari archive AI observed all data. It had been silent since the invasion began. But now, it sent one line to the Empress. "Abort. Earth is not conquerable. Recommend immediate withdrawal." Empress Corella refused. She believed in total victory. But even she felt it, that cold, crawling fear. Not from Earth's weapons, but from its people. One by one, her generals asked for retreat. "We've lost over 8,000 ships. Supply lines are gone. Our soldiers refuse to deploy. Their sun scorched an entire battalion. Their forests scream at night, Empress." But she still said no. Then came the final blow. A Zenthari destroyer crashed just outside of Madrid. One survivor made it back, burned, coughing, eyes wide with terror. In front of her whole command crew, he dropped to his knees and said, "Empress, I beg you. I saw it. I saw one of them walk through fire. He carried our explosives." "Right." Back to us, he waved while it exploded. The room went silent, and the Empress finally understood. This wasn't just a war. This was punishment. High in the clouds above the Amazon jungle, human scientists opened Project Cerberus, a secret satellite capable of mimicking black hole gravity for 9 seconds. It wasn't meant to destroy alien ships. It was meant to send a message to the galaxy. "Don't come back." Back in orbit, the Empress whispered to herself, "If they survive this, they won't stop. They'll come for us next." At first, the Xanthari thought they could just leave. They had come with 9,900 ships. Now, only 1,100 remained. And those ships, damaged, scared, full of broken warriors, rose into the sky, hoping to flee. But Earth didn't open the sky for them. It closed it. Above the clouds, hidden in low orbit, hundreds of human satellites came online. Not just communication devices, but secret military tools, left over from decades of Cold War and forgotten governments. Some were electromagnetic jammers, some were stealth-guided missile pods, and some were weapons Earth had never admitted. To having one Xanthari cruiser, the Erexion, tried to escape. Its engines roared. It left the atmosphere. It never made it to space. A blue pulse struck its belly, quiet, smooth, and invisible. Then, the entire ship folded like paper and exploded into silent fire. General Marcus Reeves stood in a mountain bunker in Alaska, watching dozens of red dots vanish from the enemy fleet map. "Seal the exits," he said. His voice was calm. One young officer asked, "Sir, are we not letting them leave?" Reeve looked at the screen. "No, we let them land. That was their mistake." He turned slowly. "Now they stay." In orbit, Empress Corella screamed in rage. "Open a path. Send every remaining warship. Clear the escape. Route." But her admirals knew the truth. There was no route left. Earth had turned itself into a burning trap. On the ground, the war changed again. Before, humans were resisting. Now, they were chasing. In South America, guerrilla fighters blocked all jungle roads with fire and explosives. Alien supply lines were crushed. Not one alien survived the escape route out of the Andes. In Asia, hackers disabled every alien flying unit using ancient satellites once meant for weather tracking. In Europe, humans repurposed alien armor, wore it like trophies, and began hunting. Their former hunters. In Australia, survivors lured alien units into the desert, then simply left them there to cook in the sun with no water. Even Earth's animals joined the war. Xanthari troops were ambushed by wolves in Canada, snakes in India, and something unseen that dragged soldiers off into the dark caves of Vietnam. 1. Report from a surviving officer was just 4 words. "The planet is alive." Aboard the command ship, panic spread like fire. One commander snapped, "We are not fighting humans. We are trapped in a living Deathworld." Another broke down in tears. "They're everywhere. In the water, in the ground, in the air." Empress Corella looked around. The air felt heavy. Her best soldiers were dead. Her fleet was burning. Her ships couldn't leave. And her enemies? They were smiling. In the ruins of an abandoned city once, called Detroit, a Xanthari sniper unit made its last stand on top of a collapsed skyscraper. They had the high ground, a perfect spot, or so they thought. But as night fell, they heard laughter. Not from soldiers, from children. One soldier looked down and saw small figures dancing around the base of the building. Then the ground shook. The building had been rigged. Human engineers had placed bombs beneath the old concrete weeks ago. The whole tower collapsed. The humans didn't need to fire a single shot. In orbit, the last remaining Xanthari ships huddled together, begging for direction. "Where is the Empress? What do we do?" The reply came not from Xanthari High Command, but from a hijacked alien channel, now broadcasting a video. It showed a lone human boy, maybe 15, walking through a Xanthari battlefield. No weapon, just a backpack. He walked past burning ships, past dead aliens, past broken banners. He reached the alien camera, looked into it and said, "You wanted Earth? Now it's yours, you'll never leave." Inside her ship, Empress Kirella fell to her knees. The pride of her people, the power of 9,900 ships, the arrogance of empire, all of it had been turned to ash by humans, by a planet that didn't want war, but refused to lose one. And then the worst message of all came from her ship's AI. Human boarding party detected. Breach in 14 minutes. Someone was coming for her. Last ship standing, only 37. Xanthari warships were left. Out of 9,900, all others had fallen, burned, crashed, torn apart, or simply vanished into Earth's madness. The once great fleet now looked like a funeral procession, drifting above a hostile planet that refused to surrender. Inside the last surviving capital ship, the Varkalon, Empress Kirella stood at her command deck, silent, pale, shaking. Her empire had never known defeat. But now, it had met humanity. The sky was no longer safe. Earth's hacked satellites showed every alien movement. Even in low orbit, the ships were being watched, tagged, and tracked. The Empress gave a final order. "Land me on Earth. I must see the enemy." Her guards hesitated. But Empress and now, the ship descended over what was once Tokyo, now a ghost city of silence and shadows. The Varkalon landed in the center of a crater, surrounded by ruined buildings and cracked streets. No soldiers appeared, no tanks rolled out, no missiles fired, just quiet. Too quiet. Kirella, dressed in ceremonial armor, stepped onto Earth's surface. For the first time, she expected resistance. Instead, she saw a child, a human boy, maybe 10 years old, sitting on a broken bench, eating a fruit. He looked up at her, smiled. "Are you the boss of the aliens?" She didn't answer. He pointed behind her. "I think they're waiting for you." Kirella turned. From the shadows of the city, they stepped out. Humans. Not soldiers. Not generals. Just people. Old men with tools. Teenagers with scavenged weapons. Mothers holding metal pipes. Farmers. Miners. Mechanics. Each one had scars. Each one had fire in their eyes. There was no fear in them, only one message: leave. Her guards raised their weapons. Kirella held up a hand. No. She stepped forward. A tall human man walked toward her. His clothes were dirty. His arms were strong. His face calm. He looked her straight in the eyes. "You came to conquer." Kirella raised her chin. "I did. You brought machines, fire, ships." "Yes. You lost all of them." She said nothing. The man pointed to the sky. "Your last ship is floating above my sky like a wounded bird. If I say one word, it will fall." Kirella's lips trembled. "Why didn't you destroy it already?" The man smiled sadly. "Because we wanted you to see what defeat looks like." Then from the east came a sound. Marching boots. Xanthari survivors, just a few dozen, limped into the city ruins. Burned, bandaged, tired, confused. They saw the Empress, and they fell to their knees. "Empress, forgive us. We failed." She looked at them. No words, no rage, just the slow, crushing weight of truth. A hologram lit up beside her. Her ship's AI, Empress. "We have 11 minutes of orbital safety left. Earth's weapons are recharging. Recommend immediate retreat." She asked, "Is escape possible?" The AI paused. "No." Then came the sound of thunder, not from the sky, but from above space. A giant Earth satellite passed overhead, lighting the clouds. Its signal was picked up by all remaining Xanthari ships. It broadcast one sentence: "This is Earth. You came here to conquer. You stayed too long. Now we bury you." Inside the Varkalon, alarms screamed. The last surviving crew stared in terror. "Orbital lock detected. They're pulling us in. We can't break free." Ship trembled. The Empress turned her eyes back to the human man. She whispered, "What do you want?" He stared at her for a long time, then said, "I want you to tell the stars what happened here." He stepped aside. He was giving her a path. She could walk away. Live. Carry the shame. Spread the fear. As the ground cracked and the sky glowed, the Empress stepped back onto her shuttle. One final time she looked at Earth, at the people who refused to die, at the world that turned war into fire and pain. She said quietly, "This is not a planet. This is a message." And then she vanished into the clouds. Behind her, the Varkalon exploded in the sky like a falling sun. The last ship, gone. The final survivor's testimony. The great halls of Zenthari Prime, deep in the core of the Empire, had never been so silent. No trumpets, no banners waving, no cheering. The grand war room, once full of proud admirals and bold strategists, was now dim. Half the chairs were empty. The others were filled with silent, pale faces. They were waiting for him, the only survivor, from the great invasion, from the disaster called Earth. The doors opened with a hiss. 2 guards escorted a broken figure inside. His armor was cracked, his skin was pale, his left hand was gone. His eyes, once sharp and full of pride, were now wide, tired, and lost. His name was Vex Talor, a former fleet strategist, a man who once commanded 3,000 warships. Now he limped alone. He stopped at the center of the room where a glowing circle lit the floor. The Empress was not present. Only a panel of shadowed counselors remained, silent, cold, watching. Machine voice spoke from above. "Speak, survivor. What happened on Earth?" Vex raised his head. He tried to speak. No sound came. His mouth trembled. His body shook. Finally, he whispered one word. "Monsters," the council murmured. "Explain." One voice demanded, "So?" He told them. He told them of the sky turning red as Earth's defense systems hacked alien ships and made them shoot each other. He told them of children setting traps, laughing as they lured his soldiers into dead ends filled with fire and spikes. Told them about the ice storm that came from nowhere and wiped out a full Zenthari division, only to reveal humans in thermal suits walking calmly through the blizzard, finishing off survivors one by one. He spoke of silence, of fear, of faces, in the dark, of a world that watched every step they took and responded with rage. "They didn't fight us like soldiers," he said. "They fought us like the land itself hated us. Their trees, their storms, their oceans, everything attacked us. They had no mercy, no leader, no code, just survival." He described the final days, when food ran out, when sleep brought screams, when alien soldiers chose suicide over stepping outside their bunkers, when the stars above were blocked, not by clouds but by satellites aiming back at us. One counselor leaned forward. "You're saying Earth cannot be conquered?" Vex laughed. It was a dry, cracked sound. "Conquered? We weren't fighting for victory, we were begging for escape." He told them of the last moment, when Empress Kirella vanished, when the final ship, the mighty Varkalon, was pulled into the planet's trap and crushed like a tin can. He told them the worst part. "They let me live." "Why?" another voice asked. Vex looked up slowly. "So I could bring this message to the stars." He reached into his torn armor and pulled out a small Earth-made cube. He placed it on the floor. It activated. A hologram lit up. It showed a human, an old man, calm, strong, his voice deep. "To those watching beyond our skies, you sent 9,900 ships. You wanted Earth. You wanted slaves. You wanted a prize. You got a graveyard." The old man stepped forward. "We are not peaceful. We are not proud. We just want to be left alone. But if you come for us again, we won't bury you next time. We'll come for your home." The hologram faded. Silence. Then one final sentence from Vex. "They are not weak. They are not kind. They are waiting." The chamber remained quiet. No one spoke. No one blinked. Finally, the council's decision was whispered. Earth is to be marked as a red-class Deathworld. Trade forbidden. Exploration forbidden. Invasion, never again. And from that day on, all spacefaring races shared a quiet rule. Avoid the blue planet. Don't speak its name. Don't test its silence. For its people are watching. Epilogue. In a small village on Earth, a young girl planted flowers over a buried alien helmet. Her father, a war hero, watched quietly. She asked, "Will they come again?" He shook his head. "Not soon, not ever." She smiled. "Good. I like it quiet." And behind her, on a hill above the village, stood a single warning sign. "To all who visit, we are Earth. Come as friends, or don't come at all."